My friends at EasyCater are workplace catering pros, helping you find food for everything from daily employee meals to staff meetings and special events. Visit easycater.com/leaderassistant to find out more.
Hi, I'm Gisele Karame-Kemp, and today's leadership quote is a Latin proverb, "Fortune favors the brave."
The Leader Assistant podcast exists to encourage and challenge assistants to become confident, game-changing leader assistants.
Hey everybody, it's episode 73.
Here's your host, Jeremy Burrows, who also happens to be my husband.
What's up, party people? Thank you to my wife for introducing me. She recorded that clip probably a year ago or so. So I'm excited to pull it out of the archives and use it in this episode, which is episode 73. Show notes can be found at leaderassistant.com/73. And I am going to let you know about our membership, members.leaderassistant.com. We have a monthly subscription membership for top-notch executive assistants all over the world. We do a monthly group coaching call where we dive deep into relevant issues related to your role, to your career, to your life, to your health. We talk about burnout. We talk about email strategy. We talk about compensation. We talk about side hustles. We talk about anything and everything you want to talk about, because as a member, you get to speak up and share your ideas and give us content suggestions. And we dive in every month. And if you can't make it live on our call, then you can watch the recording afterwards, because all of the group coaching sessions and training webinars are recorded and put in the members-only exclusive library. And speaking of the members library, we are using a new tool called Circle. Circle is a platform kind of like a hybrid between Slack, Facebook groups, LinkedIn, and online course platforms. So it's all in one. You can chat with other members. You can ask your questions. You can share job postings. You can reply to job postings. You can watch the replays of the sessions. We also have bonus templates and resources just for you, the members in the subscription plan. So members.leaderassistant.com. We'd love to have you join us. It's $39 per month. We have an annual option, if you'd prefer, that's $399, which I'm terrible at math, but I think that breaks down to about $33 and some change per month. So it's a $6 or so discount. Again, members.leaderassistant.com. You can cancel anytime. You'll just lose access to the library and the community when your current billing cycle ends. So visit us at members.leaderassistant.com. We hope you can join us. I think you'll really, really find that it's a very high return on your investment. And if you have any questions about it, let me know. I'd be happy to answer and welcome you to the membership. All right, let's jump into today's episode. Hey, Leader Assistants. Thanks for tuning in to the Leader Assistant podcast. Today I'm speaking with Gisele Karame-Kemp from Atlassian. She's the executive assistant to the co-founder and co-CEO. Gisele, how's it going?
Great. Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
Yeah, and what part of the world are you in right now?
I'm in Sydney.
Awesome.
Sydney, Australia.
So it's tomorrow there for you. And so it's kind of,
yes.
It's like I'm talking to somebody in the future.
From the future.
Yes.
That's
awesome.
right.
So tell us about your very first job and what skills you learned in that job that you still use today.
Sure. Well, my first job was working in a donut shop in the local shopping mall. I served customers. We made cinnamon donuts and coffee and ice cream. And I think I just learnt, the responsibility of having a job, being there on time after school or on the weekend. But it was actually pretty terrifying for me. I was quite a shy 13-year-old, and so I hated talking to customers or young boys that I'd seen around who came up to order something. But the best part of that job was that we got to take home leftover donuts, so that made me pretty popular at school the next day. I think just the discipline of work, really, trying to do things efficiently. But it was a pretty easy job. Not a lot that I've brought with me today, I have to say.
So how did you end up getting into the world of assistance?
Well, it's funny. It's something I just kind of fell into, and I did try to get out of the career a number of times. I was finishing my degree at the University of Sydney. I studied economics and marketing, and a full-time role as an administrative assistant came up, and I was lucky enough to get that. So I was there for a few years, and I learned a lot about admin, and following, creating procedures and being really organised and getting things done. And then I moved to the United Arab Emirates a few years later and hoped to get into marketing, but instead found a role as an executive assistant to an entrepreneur, and did that for about a year, and then moved back to Sydney, and finally got a role in marketing working for Microsoft. But that was just a contract position. So when a friend approached me about a role working for Westfield Group, a shopping mall company, it was a role supporting the general manager of marketing, and that sounded pretty good to me. So I took that role, and a few years later moved into a marketing role with the company, with Westfield, but that just didn't quite work out for me. I then worked for a brand agency, and then I think the big pivotal moment was a role that I applied for as an assistant marketing manager for Muffin Break, which is a cafe franchise in Australia. And I was really excited about the opportunity and, getting my big break in marketing. And I did a marketing presentation, and I thought I nailed it. But unfortunately, someone else just had more experience than me and got it. And I still remember when I found out that I wasn't successful, I absolutely sobbed to my boyfriend at the time. I was absolutely devastated. But a few weeks after that, I got a call from a recruiter about a role for Illyria, a private investment company, as the executive assistant to the managing partner and the second assistant to the chairman, who was Lachlan Murdoch, who today is the co-chairman of News Corp and chairman of Fox Corporation. And that was just such an incredible opportunity to sort of land at my feet. And I took that role, and as part of that whole process, I think I realised that this was really, what came naturally to me. I'm a naturally organised person. I'm always looking for the most efficient way to get something done, and it's really satisfying, to tick things off your to-do list. And I realised that it was really where my heart lay, and kind of gave up on the whole marketing idea, and the rest is history.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So Gisele, what was the biggest mistake you've made as an assistant, and what did you learn from the experience?
Sure. It was, the biggest mistake was an error of judgment on my part. I was working for Westfield Group, and it was early on in that role, and another executive assistant on the team suggested that she and I split the duty of sorting the mail that would be dropped off on our floor for the team. And I thought I was a bit a bit above that. I had a bit of an ego, I think, and I thought I outranked this other EA, and so I went to my manager and said to him, "Look, I've been asked to sort the mail, and I just want to know, is that how you want me to spend my time?" And he looked at me and he said, "Gisele, let's just get it done." And it stayed with me throughout my career, and it was just it was so simple, but it's been quite profound. It taught me to just get on with things, that sometimes it's, it doesn't matter if something's part of your role, just get it done, and then it's off your to-do list. And it's instilled in me this idea of, teamwork, and we're all part of one team. It doesn't matter if really someone else should be doing it. Sometimes it's easier to just get in, get it done, and you might also build a bit more support in the team, the wider team around you, for having that attitude of, just being happy to help and lend a hand, no matter what the task is. So that's always stayed with me.
Yeah, that's great. It's tough because we want to be leaders and we want to take on more strategic tasks and opportunities, but I'm anytime people say, "Oh, I'm above that," or it's my job is more than just scheduling meetings, and I'm like, it's not just scheduling meetings. It's like managing your executive's calendar is a very, very important part of a company.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's sort of helped me to have an attitude of, well, anything that is saving my executive time is worth my time. So whether that is scheduling an important meeting or, dropping off some dry cleaning, it's all about utilising their time. And so it's all part of the job and worthy of my attention.
So speaking of dry cleaning, do you do some personal assistant tasks as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Not very much dry cleaning at all. But I've found that the more senior the executive I support, the more that line is blurred between business and personal. I think it's very difficult to keep those things separate. Whatever he's focused on is what I'm focused on, whether that is about the business, about his personal life, travel. It's all just part and parcel, part of the job.
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of the same deal. It's like I've always had personal assistant responsibilities as well, and it's like they don't have two lives, they have one life, and you're supporting their one life, and sometimes it's personal, sometimes it's professional. So
yeah, that's right.
So what is it like working for Atlassian, which is a very large global software company? I had actually came from nonprofit world into my current job, though I'm in a software company. And so I finally kind of dove right into Jira, which is a project management software that Atlassian has. And I just had never heard of it before. And then all of a sudden it was like Jira this, Jira that. And I was like, man, what is this thing? And, now it's like, okay, pretty much every software developer in this business uses Jira for project management. So a couple things. What is it like working for just a global public company? And then the second thing would be, do you have software development training or any coding experience? That's kind of what I'm curious to hear you share about.
Sure. Well, Atlassian is an incredible place to work. I've never experienced anything like it. We have our 5 values that everybody seems to live and breathe. It's a really supportive company that really values each and every staff member. We're all encouraged to collaborate and work together. Our mission is to unleash the potential of every team, and that's true inside these walls and outside. And it's just a really supportive place to work. We have beautiful, bright offices with lots of plants and greenery and fun things to do, ping pong tables and great kitchens, and people bring their dogs to work. And that's quite unusual in Sydney. There seem to be a few companies that are starting to do that kind of thing, but it's just such a wonderful work environment. And everybody works really hard, and it's such an amazing place to come to work every day. I still pinch myself almost 2.5 years into the role. In terms of coding, I do not code. I have no experience in any of that. I don't have a technical background at all, and Jira is actually a bit of a mystery to me. I've found it's been interesting for me coming from companies like Westfield, which are shopping malls, News Corp, which is media. I was always, one of the customers of these companies as well as working inside of them. And so it was really easy for me to understand what we do, what we did, what we were selling. But Atlassian is far more challenging to understand as someone who isn't technical. I use Trello. It's an amazing tool, and that's one of our products. But Jira, I do not use, and perhaps you could educate me a little bit about a little, Jeremy.
I try to stay out of it as much as I can.
Yeah, but one thing I've learnt in the roles that I've had is, I'm often so busy I have to decide where to spend my time. I'd love to learn to code, and it's definitely on my to-do list just to have, a bit more understanding about this world that I find myself in. But I kind of have to focus on, just certain parts of this bigger picture. And so if at some point I need to code, I'll probably wander over to find some of our engineering team so they can educate me. But we have very talented people who do those things, and so I tend to stay out of that arena.
So what would you say to somebody that's in a different industry and maybe they're intimidated by the software space, and they're thinking about wanting to jump into that world, but intimidated because of the, not understanding the coding or not understanding the software? How would you kind of encourage somebody listening that's making a leap or trying to make a leap?
Sure. I think a great starting point is just to talk to people. So find someone working for one of those companies that you're interested in working for. Reach out to an EA at that company or someone within your wider LinkedIn network, and offer to buy them a coffee and pick their brain and get a bit of an insight into what goes on. I've found that there's been zero barrier to that. I think being an EA, a lot of what we do is transferable to any industry. But one thing I've found is that tech works so quickly. It's amazing. I think it's an incredible place for an EA to be, because we're always looking for efficiencies and better ways to get things done. And we're better than a tech company where we're sort of using the best products to get our work done. We're not stuck in. I was up until I started at Atlassian, I was still using Outlook and Microsoft Word and sort of the products that I started using in my first job at the University of Sydney. So it was really exciting and a little bit challenging to have to get to know Gmail and Google Calendar and Google Docs and Sheets, and even Slack was something that was brand new to me, and it's just helped me think in different ways and not rely on my old ways of doing things. It's pushed me to grow, which is nice after doing the same sort of role for such a long time.
That's great. So Do you have any tips for managing constant interruptions?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's a challenge, but it's I suppose it's the nature. It's the nature of the beast. What I find really helps for me is when somebody asks me for something, whether that's my exec or someone else within the team. A simple question I ask is, when do you need that by? And I find that makes the person stop and think, okay, actually, this isn't as urgent as I made it sound, or perhaps I thought it was, and I don't need it, for a few hours, or just by the end of the day or the end of the week. And that then helps me to prioritize that task in terms of the other things on my to-do list. I also I have my phone on silent. Years ago, I realized that every time an email came in and I heard that little notification sound, I had an almost physical reaction to it, and it was pulling me out of whatever I was doing with my family, or just trying to enjoy a TV show. I was sort of, it was pulling me back into my work world. So I turned those notifications off, and I now keep my phone on silent, and I just check it, throughout the day, just to make sure I'm on top of things and I'm not missing anything really important. And then the third thing I do is I put my phone on Do Not Disturb through the night, and I make sure my exec and other important people in my life are favourites, so that, if there's some kind of an emergency, they can call me, but I'm not being woken by emails or messages, because I think it's really important to get a good night's sleep and recharge, ready to get back into it the next day. So those are my top three things, I think.
I love it. I'm a big fan of the Do Not Disturb, and I even
yes.
I even never go online on Slack. And it's funny how people still ping me, and when they need something, but
Yes.
I don't even change my status. I just keep it as away.
Fantastic. I might try that.
So, if you could snap your fingers and instantly give all assistants more of something, what would it be?
I think it would be recognition. We do such incredible jobs, and we're balancing so many conflicting demands and getting so many different things done, and interpreting information, and all in the hope of helping someone else achieve their goals. I think there are a lot of execs who recognise what we do, and some of my biggest fans are my teammates who appreciate my work, and I mean, certainly Scott is really supportive and appreciative of everything I do. But to see EAs recognised a little more in the wider business community, I think would just be would just be incredible. A bit of recognition goes a long way in terms of our confidence and growth opportunities. One thing I've been thinking about lately is it's sort of baffling to me that an executive assistant becomes an executive assistant and then remains one for sort of 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and there isn't this natural career progression. You grow depending on who you support, and you perhaps work your way up to being the assistant to the CEO or the chairperson. But why aren't there? I find myself questioning why there aren't clear title changes, and we see. There's a greater prevalence of the chief of staff role now, but it would be nice to see clearer career progressions for EAs, and I think that would come with a bit more recognition from people for what we do, what we achieve, and how we go about the way we go about it without really creating a fuss and sort of remaining in the shadows and doing it for the good of someone else and for the company. So I think that's what I'd wish for.
That's great. So what do you think makes an assistant a leader?
I think taking others with you would be it. It's certainly the approach I try to take. I've been lucky enough to be the second assistant, and then the sort of the first assistant to a CEO or chairperson, and then hire someone who reports into me who also supports that executive. And what I found is sharing information, explaining why I do things a certain way, making sure that they're privy to what I'm working on, and not kind of just keep information to myself. I think it would be easy to try and make myself almost indispensable by making sure I was the only person who could get a certain thing done, or make sure that my exec really relies on me heavily. But I don't want to be that person. I don't want to think, I'm really sick, but I couldn't possibly take a day off because this and this and this needs to get done. Knowing that someone else on the team can step in and do that allows me to take the break when I need to. It empowers them and helps them to grow. And as a result, as they grow, that allows me to focus on other things and grow in my role as well. So I think that's a great way to sort of lead others and empower them. And I think secondly, the other thing would be speaking up when others, when you disagree with perhaps what someone is saying or their opinion, and putting your opinion forward. It's very easy to just keep your opinion to yourself if you think that others don't agree. But I think all my experience has been that sharing my point of view has certainly helped others in their growth and speaking up as well. And putting their opinion forward, having the confidence to do that. So I suppose leading by example in that way perhaps leads to being a bit more of a leader and not just an assistant.
Yeah, and I love what you said about kind of not being afraid to train the people that work for you. I've heard people say, you should train those under you to basically replace you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want them to do so well that they replace you someday.
Yeah.
So yeah, love it. So let's, Gisele, let's close off with one tip. Since Atlassian, Trello is one of Atlassian's products, what's one Trello tip that you'd like to share with assistants all over the world?
One Trello tip. I think for people out there who haven't used it, just get in and have a go. It's such a simple tool. I don't think I probably am not even aware of half of the features that are available. I create a board that's sort of my, work board. I have a board that I share with my husband for our life admin and our holiday planning and things like that. But I think for people to just get in and start using it, it's a really simple tool for recording what you need to get done. And so once you start, the beauty of it will soon become clear. I don't think I've articulated that very well, but I've certainly got a lot of my EA friends and colleagues onto Trello, and they absolutely love it, and it's invaluable. So it finally got me off using a written to-do list. So
yeah, that's great. And I love what you said about your husband. You use it with your husband too. We, my wife and I do the same thing. We have a to-do list spreadsheet that we just keep track of our personal organization.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, he's a facilities manager, and he said he started using it for I think planning office moves and things in other states. So it's just great for collaborating with other teammates, and it's really easy to use. It's great.
Awesome. Well, Gisele, thanks so much for taking time out of your day to share your story and your tips. And I'm just really excited to share this conversation with everyone. Is there something that we can do to support you, or somewhere online that people listening can find you?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, so look me up, connect, and if there's anything I can help with, advice that I can give, please reach out. Happy to help.
Well, thanks so much again, and we will talk soon.
Excellent. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks again to Gisele for a great conversation. Be sure to check out the show notes at leaderassistant.com/73 to find a link to Gisele on LinkedIn so you can say hi. Also, don't forget to join our membership, members.leaderassistant.com, or you can just go to leaderassistant.com, click on training and membership, or scroll down and click on membership. And we'd love to have you. $39 a month or $399 a year. Good luck finding ongoing professional development at that price from top instructors with state-of-the-art, up-and-coming software platform, and just top-notch members. Honestly, the members in our membership are smarter than me, have more experience than me, and share more insight, and it's very exciting to be a part of this group. Hope you can join us at members.leaderassistant.com. Talk to you soon.
Please review on Apple Podcasts. GoBulls.com